Welcome back to RooTV, your station for weekly updates on UMKC and the local Kansas City community. I'm Marissa Leggio.
And I'm Deja, McKenzie.
On November 9th, UMKC Career Services hosted a business event called Networking in the 816. With the goal to be more relaxed and low-key than other career fairs and networking events, students had the opportunity to talk to businesses in the comfortable space of the Jasmine Stage area in the Student Union. Food was provided and formal business clothing was not required. If students talked to enough businesses, they were given tickets to enter into a raffle where they could win prizes such as job shadowing opportunities with one of the participating businesses. Keep an eye out for this event in the future on Roo Groups and on Handshake.
Congratulations to UMKC's Dr. Amy Patel for becoming the Kansas City Chiefs representative and for being nominated as the NFL Fan of the Year. Originally from Chillicothe, Missouri, Dr. Patel earned her MD from UMKC in 2011 and now is an assistant professor of radiology in the School of Medicine. She used her education in specializing in radiology to help in the development of a state-of-the-art breast cancer Research Center at the Liberty Hospital and aided in passing of Missouri legislation to expand insurance coverage for mammogram screenings. Dr. Patel will now face off against 31 superfans from other NFL teams in their Fan of the Year polls. To vote for her, click on the link down below in the description.
In a report done by the Kansas City Star, there were more pedestrian deaths last year than any other year in the past decade. There were 43 pedestrian and cyclist deaths in Kansas City in 2021 and account for 16% of deadly traffic accidents in the metro. The Star noted that the three most dangerous streets for pedestrians were Independence Avenue, 39th Street, and Prospect Avenue. In 2020, the Kansas City Council passed a resolution called Vision Zero, which aims to make safety improvements to these dangerous roads and eliminate traffic fatalities and injuries by 2030. If you find yourself crossing or cycling along these roads, make sure to keep your head on a swivel and stay safe.
On a citywide ballot question, KC voted in favor of putting $50 million towards housing initiatives in the city. According to the KC Tenants Union, this bond is the largest commitment in housing in the city's history. In October, the City Council designated that the money allocated this bond will serve projects for those who are at 30% or below the area median income, so assistance will come to those who need it the most. The Housing Trust Fund, the group in control of the money, invested $7.9 million in the past to develop 14 housing projects, which led to the creation of 500 affordable housing unions. Organizations and developers are able to apply through the Housing and Community Development Department.
Now we'll throw it over to Jackson, Josh, and Afnan for this week's roundup of sports and entertainment.
Welcome back into the den. I'm Jackson Ogden. Men's soccer wrapped up their season in the Summit League tournament this past week, finishing second after losing in the championship game. They started the tournament off as the fourth and lowest seed, but that did not stop them from taking down the top-seeded Oral Roberts in a thrilling 3-2 overtime win. Ultimately, they would fall to Denver in the championship game 3-0, but it was still a fantastic season for our guys. Volleyball is set to wrap up their season this week with two road matches against St. Thomas and Western Illinois. This past week, seniors Peyton Van Nest, Georgia Mullins, Kennedy Schreitenthal, Rachel Sturdivant, Raina Smith, and Bree Thompson were honored in the home finale against South Dakota State for Senior Day. We wish them the best going forward and thank them for all they've done here at UMKC. Women's basketball had a busy opening week, taking down Westminster and Tennessee State before dropping a tough one to UTEP on Sunday. Danny Winslow set the program record in Friday's win against Tennessee State with 24 rebounds in a single game. They're set to take on Utah Tech here on Friday for this week's action. Men's basketball also had a busy week, losing to Lincoln, LSU, and number 23 Illinois. They'll look to turn it around again this week here at Cavalry at home at Kansas State on Thursday. On to national sports, the Chiefs took down the Jaguars in Week 10 action by a score of 27-17. Mahomes had a typical performance, putting up 331 yards and 4 touchdown passes in the win, but an even bigger story might have been newcomer Kadarius Toney having his breakout game. Toney hauled in 4 passes for 57 yards and a score, while rushing for 33 yards on top of that. Kansas City moved to 7-2, and because Josh Allen and the Bills put on a generational choke job, the Chiefs are now the top seed in the AFC. They're set to take on the Chargers on Sunday Night Football next week against the playoff virgin Justin Herbert. MLB free agency has kicked off, and in typical Royals fashion, they have done nothing. It's early, and the new management deserves some patience, but I swear to everything that is holy that if they trot this same roster out next April, I will be the most loud and annoying man in Kansas City sports media, and the folks at One Royal Way will hear me yelling from miles away. Well, that's all I've got for this week. Have a fun Thanksgiving break, and I'll see you guys here after the break.
Welcome back to Arts and Entertainment. My name is Joshua Cunningham, and I'll be your host today. And I looked at my Spotify stats this morning to see what my top 5 songs I've been listening to this month, and that's what I'm going to talk about. So number 5, Came Way Too Far by Caleb Gordon. Now, Caleb Gordon, over the last 6 months, has become one of my favorite artists to listen to, so it's really no surprise to me that this song is on my top 5. I didn't know that I was listening to it this much, but it's not surprising. It's a great song. You know, I put on my liked songs, and it's on there, so it's just constantly in my ears. And number 4 is In This Movie by Ty Vertis. Now, I don't know if I said his name right, but this song is also in my liked songs. And this one was one I just kind of stumbled over, you know, when Spotify stops a playlist and they just play songs they think you might like. Well, that was one of these songs, and I do like it a lot. I mean, I just think the concept of the song is cool, like thinking of life as a movie and your main character is the girl you're with. Now, I don't have a girl, but a boy can dream, so, you know, I'm going to keep dreaming while I listen to this song. And number 3 is Fine China, and number 2 is Patient Interlude. They're both by Baby Keem. You guys know I love Baby Keem, and you guys heard me talk about the Melodic Blue Deluxe album last week. So it's no surprise that these 2 songs are on there. They were my favorite songs from the album, and I'm going to continue listening to them, and we'll see if they jump up maybe. But number 1 on this list might be my favorite song this year. It's called Starved by Zach Bryan. Now, I haven't talked about Zach Bryan too much on the channel, but Zach Bryan is also one of my favorite artists. He's probably right outside my top 10. And this song, you know, when I first listened to it, I wasn't really paying attention, so I didn't give it credit. But when I listened to it back, it just kind of took me to a different place. It made me feel nostalgic of a memory I didn't even have, which I think is kind of insane that he did that in a song. But it's on my Other World playlist because I just feel like I'm taken to another world when I listen to it. I always listen to it when I'm walking to class and I just look up at the trees and the sky and it just makes me feel good, you know? And so that's my top 5 list. Came Way Too Far by Caleb Gordon. In This Movie by Ty Vertis. Patient Interlude, Fine China, and Starved. If you guys trust my music opinions, go listen to the songs. If you don't have to. But that's all I have for you guys this week. Have a great Thanksgiving break, and I'll see you the week after that.
Welcome back to RooTV. My name is Afnan Hussein, and today I'm going to talk about my top 3 favorite book-to-screen adaptations. Starting with number 3, we have The Orchid Thief. The Orchid Thief is a part of a nesting doll of adaptations. The film is based on the book, which is based on an article in The New Yorker, written by Susan Orlean. Yes, the book is actually about a flower, but it is so much more than that. With themes of passion, obsession, lust, and criminal justice, The Orchid Thief hits so many elements of the human condition with originality. It's an engrossing beach read, and you'll get sucked into it, and you cannot put it down. The movie, appropriately called Adaptation, is easily one of the best books made into movies. Not only is it inspired by the book, but it also uses the original book in its plot, featuring star performances from Meryl Streep, Chris Cooper, and Nicolas Cage. It's one of the most remarkable movies ever attempted and made. Number 2, we have Call Me By Your Name. Andre Aciman's stunning novel tells the story of a teen boy who falls into a whirlwind romance with an older guest staying at his family's Italian Riviera home during the summer of 1988. With beautiful prose, Aciman touches on love, attraction, desire, and sexuality. Moving and evocative, the award-winning story is one of the best LGBTQ+ books you'll ever read. On screen, we see superb, nuanced performances by Timothée Chalamet, who was nominated for Best Actor in his role, and Armie Hammer. The story shines because of all that it does not reveal. The movie disregards the book's framing device and compresses its time frame. They take the risk of replacing chunks of feverish narration with images and movement and nothing else, with silence. The movie neither copies nor dismisses the book on which the film is based. It enhances it. This is a rare case in which the book and the film are equally remarkable.
My favorite all-time book-to-screen adaptation is Oscar Wilde's only novel, The Picture of Dorian Gray. Steeped in controversy, it was first published in a magazine, short hundreds of words. The editor had removed controversial elements without Wilde's knowledge or approval, citing fear that the daring story might violate public morality laws of the day. With themes of hedonism, homosexuality, beauty, and youth, the Gothic novel had Wilde's Victorian contemporaries clutching their pearls. But with such a fantastic premise, the character sells his soul to make sure that a painting of himself ages instead of his body. It's no wonder the book was made into a movie. There are half a dozen film adaptations, but the one worth watching was released in 1945 and was shot primarily in black and white. It uses Technicolor for Dorian's miserably aging portrait, a genius way to bring the book's central theme to life. If you enjoyed this book review, check out my Instagram at afhussein_ for more. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of RooTV. Make sure to hit the notification bell and subscribe for more UMKC and KC community news.
And check out our Instagram at RooTV UMKC. See you next week.